Hello everyone! So this is going to be part 2 of how to animate an acting piece. This is going to be a really easy one for me specifically because there's not enough time to teach acting in a span of one semester. So what I'm going to do is teach you as much as I can with a really simple 2-pose animation. And more than anything, I really want to teach you the kind of tips and tricks of executing an acting piece. Just like I said in the last video, we found out that we're going to have to break the rig. We're going to have to break it completely almost so that we can start to hit the pose that we want. So using FK was not an option for this animation because it was just not giving us the stretchy results that we needed. Now that I have my character here, what I really want to do is make sure that things make sense. So first and foremost, if I were to look at this now, it looks like it's kind of jetting up. Let's get the grease pencil, just kind of see. So if I'm following this up here, again, I'm kind of exaggerating, not in the way that I want to. The realistic way is, it looks like it's coming up like that. So I want to bring it down just a little bit so it looks like the arm is carried over to the shoulder more. So let's go ahead and drag that down just a little bit. Like so. Now it looks like the arm is leading into here more. Remember, even on the silhouette poses, something that I was showing for the attack animation, you also want to be able to look at your scene like so. And it's kind of confusing as to what's going on right now, but at least the silhouette is broken up a little bit more. So even on here, you can see that this also turns into a different object as well. But I think we can push that just a little bit further. So let's see if I can fix that, even just a little bit. So if I bring that in more, like so. What's making it jet out quite a bit is probably, that's probably this head right here. That's okay, and the elbow controllers are wonking out a little bit. That's all right. So what I'm going to do now is, now that I've kind of adjusted this a little bit to kind of get more of a silhouette, and then let's just see what it looks like if I turn it off. Okay, so that looks, is that even better? Let's find out. That actually does feel better. It feels more like the character is like really digging into the table. So what I'm going to do is go back to my view. That looks better, but I'm going to have to adjust the head ever so slightly. So remember, even though I'm looking at this now with fresh eyes, I still want to make sure that it reads better. So let me jet that down like so. This also needs to come down. And you know what? This actually needs to come back. So it feels like it's going back in space. Believe it or not, that actually fixed a lot of the problems that I was have with the clipping. So that looks good. This elbow is looking okay, but I really need it to rest down on the table. So I'm going to jet that down. Like so. And so now it looks like they're either really sleepy or they are kind of sad almost. So let's move that down a little bit more so it looks more like sleep. There we go. So that feels good to me. I think I like that a little bit more. Let me push this elbow out just a bit more so that I can see the silhouette better. Like so, that looks better. Now when I go here, it feels much better. And that's what matters. So this pose is done in my eyes. That was a lot faster than I thought it was going to be honest. So now that pose has been done, what I want to do is now go to my next pose. My second pose being the wake up. So before I get too excited, what I want to do is I want to open up my reference really quick. I have my reference open on Sync Sketch, so let's go ahead and open that up really quick. I believe it is in the acting piece. Perfect. Also, for anyone who is in the class, I've uploaded some walk cycles that I've been working on for a demo reel that I just want to make. So I'm making a cycles demo reel, and I'm uploading my progress to Sync Sketch. For anyone that's interested, I believe it's on the feedback channel, but feel free to check it out. Give me some feedback. I want you to practice using your eye to kind of figure out what's working, what's not working. The biggest difference that I've done for this one that I haven't shown in the tutorials is I added timing and spacing on the rotations as well. So please, please, please keep that in mind. I can't teach everything. There's just not enough time to teach you a full and complete reel or a tutorial, because it's just going to take hours and hours. It takes me hours and hours to finesse things. So, but you're more than welcome to see what I did here. Now let's open up the reference. Let's quickly play it. So my reference starts here. Remember, I'm trying to have the same energy that I have over here. So I'm kind of getting similar vibes. I would, in a perfect world, want to maybe put this in a little bit deeper, maybe by moving it back a little bit, and moving it in. That feels pretty good. Actually, yeah, that feels more like they're kind of sleeping. So, and then to fix this just a little bit, let me fix this hand. Rotate it back. Like so. That's pretty good. Awesome. Okay, cool. And I should still see the silhouette. Yep, that's good. Okay, so I pushed it where I want. That looks pretty good to me. Next thing I want to do is I want to get to my next pose. So to get to the next pose, what I'm going to do is just quickly look at my reference. Let's bump this out to where our character is up now. And this is the pose that I want to try to hit. And then my in-between will be this one right here. Perfect. So that's my next pose. To be honest, if you're watching right now, this is literally going to be me noodling around trying to figure out how to pose this character. So let's do it. The main thing I want to do is I want to capture the same energy that I have in this pose right here. So to do that, let me go ahead and shrink this down. One thing that I like to do is I like to zoom in so it's easier to see. And I actually like seeing the image from far away sometimes because I want to get the general idea of what I am seeing. Same thing goes for my illustration folks and my storyboarding folks. It's not so much about making a pretty image. What it's really about is making sure that you have the same energy and feeling that you get from the reference that you're trying to, I guess, emulate from. So this kind of character kind of gives me like a, oh man, I just woke up. But it looks like it's not the first time I've done this, to be honest. I'm like, oh, I freaking woke up. Okay, I gotta focus on class again. Oh man, what did I miss? Kind of vibes. So to kind of capture that, what I really want to do is make sure first and foremost, I'm not even looking at the face. Do not get excited about the face. What I really want to do is I want to look at what the body is doing. We kind of got a squared look right here where we're like, okay, let me present myself first and foremost. I'm still awake, I'm blocked out, and then I'll start to rest into my pose as I go on, like so. But what I really want to do is like, I'm up. Okay, what did I miss? All right, I'm back in class. Let's learn again. So let's try to get that look. It's going to be really hard because we've got a really skinny character. But again, I'm going to try to break the rig to at least try to get a squared form. And it looks like these hands, especially this one on the right, screen right side, does not move very often. So that's okay. It just kind of comes back a little bit and then goes up. So you may be tempted to think, oh man, let's definitely animate this head first. Let's animate the hands and just kind of knock this out. No, what I'm actually going to animate first is the hips. Always, always, always remember, you want to animate the feet and the hips first. Now, if you do not see the feet or the hips, don't stress. You don't have to like over animate them. For this knee, for instance, I could, if I wanted to, like animate the foot, because you kind of see it here, right here. But what I really want to do is I want to animate the knee, because that's what I see most in this reference here. So the character's going up. It looks like their leg kind of comes out a little bit as they get more relaxed. So let's have the knee come out just a little bit, just to kind of get some motion in there. And you know what? Maybe we'll animate that foot coming out a little bit more too. Again, before I get too excited, I need to make sure that all of my keys are keyed. So let's select all of them. I'm going to deselect that one. I also want to, actually, yeah, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to key these individually. And this is a good exercise. For those who have not already seen this, it's incredibly simple. Literally all I'm going to do is create a new layer. I'm going to call this new layer controls. And what I want to do is put all my controls into this layer so that when I key my controls, I know that it's all the controls that I want to be keyed. So first thing I'm going to do is add selected object. I'm going to click the unview button so I know for a fact it's in there. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to again add the controller by adding selected objects. Now that I've already done that, I can click on whatever controller I want, press the G key, and it will automatically add that key for me. So it looks like Harnet's not working right now, so let me turn it back on again really quick. That way you can see me press the key. So let me add selected object again, and let me show you what it looks like. Pressing G, perfect. That's so weird though that Karnak's not working right now. Hold on, just a second. That's so weird. All right, well, it's working now. All right, so I'm just gonna go down the line. All the controllers that I know I'm going to key, I will definitely add. As you can see here, it looks like selecting that one also selects this one. Something to keep in mind, if you click on a controller and it selects another one, do not press G, because if you do, you will be completely missing out on this, this controller that we have right here. So I'm going to press G here and then press G on this one. That way I know I'm selecting every single available controller. Another good example of that, let's see what happens if I click this one, or if I click this one, maybe on the feet. Okay, so the foot is a perfect example. So if I were to select G on the foot, all those controllers that I would have access to are completely gone now. Before I get too excited about that, even this, I think, okay, yeah, even this controller. If I do this controller, it gets rid of all the other controllers. So what I want to make sure that I do is make sure that I isolate each controller to make sure, let's see that one, I almost got that one. To make sure that I am selecting the individual controllers. If I do not do that, I will be missing out on controllers that I could be animating. So here's a good example of this one. That one selects that one. What happens if I select that one? Perfect. select G, select G. Now I know for a fact that all of these keys will be, all of these controllers will be keyed if I select my control layer. So now that I have all of that, let's do the same thing to this foot. Select all these keys, or these controllers. So I keep making those up all the time. Okay, so I've got this one. Select that one, select that one. I can now select this one because it's not selecting any other ones. I believe we have to select the back one. Nope, the front one it is. G, 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 G. Last but not least, G. And then what the hell is this? What does this do? I have no idea what that is. Oh, my eye control. Why is my eye control there? Oh, shoot. Did I accidentally? I totally did. I accidentally added my eye controls. Oh, wait. Actually, no, I need to. That worked out okay. I needed to do that anyway. Okay, so let's go ahead and add more of these. Get our eye control too. Okay, so we got that. Let's go up here. Let's definitely get these knees in. I definitely want those knee controls. And let's go up the leg. Again, friendly reminder to everyone who's learning animation. If you've been following the YouTube videos, please, please, please do not assume or think that if you've been following along chronologically that this is the next evolution or the next step. What we should absolutely be doing is going back and just constantly doing the ball exercise, constantly doing the sit to stand, making sure that you're able to do those. And if a professional animator tells you, wow, this is amazing, then I would feel comfortable graduating to the next step. Because oftentimes we get way too excited about animation and we completely forget the importance of learning the basics first before we get too excited about doing all the crazy stuff in animation. The kick flips, the acting. What we really should be working on is the body mechanics first and foremost. So honestly, let's see what the hands are. Okay, thank goodness. The hands stay in a fist, so I don't really have to worry about that too much. Almost like that was by design. Okay, let's get that. That. Perfect. Last but not least, yield, I think, elbows. Perfect. Now, again, friendly reminder of why I do this. Now that I have all my controllers selected into my controller layer, I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to select all objects, and I'm simply going to press S. Now I know with confidence that all of my controllers that I have selected can be keyed on pose to pose. So next thing I'm going to do is I actually want to hold this pose for just a little bit, give you some time to process that this is happening. Yeah, that should be good enough for now. And then let's just see how long it takes for our character to kind of come up. So we're at a rest here at about 38. 39 is when we start to get up. So from 38 on to to hit this pose right here. Okay, so 40 frames. That honestly feels like way too much to me. In a perfect world, I would try to honor this as close as I can. However, I know that that time is going to be completely off. So really looking at this realistically, I think 20 frames is enough for me to get that snappy feeling, at least in the beginning. It probably is going to feel slow, but yeah, that's way too many frames. What is it from? Yeah, 38 to 60 frames. I'm sorry, yeah. 30 frames to get there. That feels like way too long. I could probably do that in, let's say, maybe 25 or 15 frames, half of that. So let's do that. And I'm probably going to make it even snappier just for fun. But for now, 15 frames is a good place. So with that, remember, I do not want to animate the upper body right now. What I should be focusing on is first and foremost the feet, the hips, and once I knock those out of the park, then I can start moving up the spine. So first thing I want to do is let's click this foot. Let's move it up and out a little bit. So it kind of feels like the character is like, whoa, jetting out a little bit. Like, oh, I just woke up. This one, I'm going to kick in and out a little bit. I'm going to move those over later though. Remember, I don't want like too much symmetry on this. Things should not be happening at the same time. So I'm just going to do this at this pose like this. But later on, as I'm fixing this and refining it, I would then move this forward a little bit so you get some asymmetry on the feet. And already I'll just show you how this looks better. Like so. But again, I don't want to get too excited. Don't want to get too ahead of myself. So that looks good for now. Next thing I want to do is, let's see, like, is there anything else I want to do on the feet? Not really, because, you know, the butt's already rested, so the feet aren't going to be leaning too much. Maybe, if anything, maybe I can add like a slight kind of roll over for this foot here. So let's go ahead and click on this. I wonder if this controller is gonna, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's nice. That's pretty cool. I like that. And I might even do it over here too. But let's see if I can. What I really want, I just want to see if I can rotate this foot out a little bit. That's kind of cool. Maybe not on that side, just the one. That's good. Okay, so actually, now that I'm looking at this foot, I really don't want that to come out too much. Again, I'm looking at the actual scene here. Let's just look at the scene. It just looks kind of weird that they're all kind of moving at the same rate and the same distance. So rather than do that, I'm actually going to kick that in a little bit. And maybe add just a bit more. That feels way better. Okay, cool. I like that more. So now that I have that, let's mess with the hips. All right, so my character's still kind of like leaned up, but still kind of tilted over. Now that I have that, let's kind of zero out some of these controllers really quick. We've got this one that I have zeroed out. Oh, this is super fun. I don't know if anyone's ever played Kingdom Hearts, but there's these really cool mummy looking creatures. It actually looks a lot like this now that it's been all stretched out. But what I definitely want to do is kind of like fix this quite a bit. Now that this has been kind of stretched out, I'm kind of curious. Let's just see what's happening in the animation. So my character's coming up, the elbow's coming in a little bit. I might just exaggerate that even more. I'm just kind of curious, like, I just want to see what this will look like when I zero it out. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay, how about this hand right here? What happens if I zero that out? That's so cool. Look at that. So weird. Oh, awesome. All right, before I get too excited, I definitely want this elbow to kind of hang out where it once was. So, dang, I don't know what I did. Okay, and if you can, just give me 1 second. Yeah, 1 second. Be right back. Scrub through this if you need to. Sorry if you got that. My wife is playing Overwatch. So, really quickly, next thing I want to do is I want to make sure that this elbow and the transition is at least in the place that I want it to be. So, here's what's going to be challenging about this. What I want to do is, hold on, let me fix that again. I just go back here. Okay, actually, yeah. Let me fix this really quick. So, if you weren't here for the last video, just keep in mind, one of the challenges that I was having was bringing back up my my animation key. So let me just look up how to reset my UI
stuff.
Default state. Okay, I think I remember now. Okay, let's go to Windows. Workspaces. Let me just type in my classic. There we go. Okay, we're back. Awesome. So, actually, this is a really good segue. So again, if you haven't seen the last video, one of my favorite things is to work in a 3-panel view. So what I'll do is right-click here. I'm going to 3 panes, split left. Boom. This is my preferred workflow. So what I'd like to do is I have a render camera in one scene, whether it's this one or that one. And then the next thing I like to do is have either a front or a side view so that I can actually select the controllers. And then last but not least, I'll have like a perspective view where I can just like look around to see what's happening within the scene. So we've got that. Let's go back over here. Oh no, what happened? Okay, let's fix this really quick. Just fix the elbows. Like so. And last but not least, like so. Yeah, sometimes Maya's weird. So let's just bring that down like it once was. I'm having it just clip a little bit. Honestly, this is kind of like I don't know if anyone else does this. If there's any other animators out there, please let me know. Sometimes what I like to do is I'll like to clip it deliberately through the mesh so it feels like it's pressing at least into the table. So let me just do that a little bit more on this elbow, like so. There you go. That way it looks like you're actually resting your elbow into it. And the reason being is because it gives you a kind of really nice silhouette that kind of gives you a straight line. And that, to me, gives the implication that I am pressing my weight into something. That's why I try to do that. Okay. So we've got that. I think I did that on the wrong frame, though. Let's get my controllers again really quick. Select objects. No, that was the right one. I just don't know why it's doing that, though. That's the weird thing. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. Because it's a totally different scene. Okay. Or a totally different key pose. Okay, so I'm going to select my objects. I'm literally just going to copy, paste. That's it. Like so. Yeah, that might happen from time to time. Okay, so yeah, it's bugging out on me. Let me file save scene as. I'm going to save this really quick. Just a heads up. Believe it or not, sometimes just saving And then exporting makes a huge difference. Hold on, I'm totally distracted because there's a crow in my balcony right now, just hanging out. It's so rare. I hope he eats the bugs that have been eating my crops. All right, I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted. Ah, shoot, that'd be a good opportunity to shoot some reference though. I'll do that later. Hopefully he's still there by the time I'm done. All right, I digress. Let us see what happens if I reopen this scene. So let's go ahead and reopen it. Don't save. Let's see if it gives me that weirdness. No, and it's fixed. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure why that happens or why it does that. But on occasion, it'll just give me some weird popping sensation. Okay, so now that that is done, fix that. And let's fix my foot again. So let's shift that in a little bit more, push it back. And I really want to kind of have this rollover effect that I have. So let's go ahead and do that. And actually, let's move that in a little bit more. There we go, that feels better. Sorry, this crow is like trying to size me up right now. Just don't eat the seeds that I'm trying to grow, please.
He wants to know if you have shinies for him.
Oh, I do have shinies, actually. That is a good point. I forget that crows love shiny things. Oh my god, the second you said that, I started flashing my Nintendo Switch on him. And he just immediately started looking at me. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, cool. That was a nice moment. Thank you. All right. Okay. Getting excited. Okay, so let's go ahead and change this up. So I've got the feet where I want them. Kind of change it up a little bit. Not perfectly symmetrical, kind of giving a little variation. Now I'm going to go to frame 25. Let us change this here. So I'm fixing that. Next thing I want to do is, let's see what the body is doing. Is it rotating screen left or screen right? It's definitely rotating screen right. So let's knock it that way. Okay, that feels good. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to completely zero out this head. Zero out this neck. And I know I say not to mess with the face, but just for my own sanity, I'm going to open up the eyes a little bit. Like so. And again, I'm getting excited. I'm going to fight the urge to animate the face to the best of my ability. Because again, the most important thing is the actual body. If the body reads well, then the face is only going to supplement that even further. So next thing I want to do is, despite the character's natural arms actually looking probably something more like, let me show you. Probably something more like this. Let me zero these out. Yeah, that's how long the arm is supposed to be. So, you know what? I wonder if I can cheat this a little bit more. Let me zero that out. Let me zero this out. Okay, so that's what the character's supposed to look like. And then last but not least, let's definitely fix this arm. Remember, I want to try to stay on model as close as I possibly can. And if I get off model, that's okay, as long as it reads correctly. So let's go ahead and select these, zero them all out. Am I missing one? Oh yeah, this one right here. Let me zero that one out too. Okay, cool. So now what I can do is, and that's gonna keep bugging out, but that's okay, because I can just save that. Okay, cool. And let's just figure out where the hands are. So let me jet this over here this way. Again, the dangers of using IK, it's very, very easy for things to get kind of wacky. So, but the cool thing about IK is that you can really customize like whatever the hell you want. So to demonstrate that, let's just kind of go over here. So it looks like the fist comes forward in space. So let's select that hand. So as long as it's going forward, and you know what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to copy this hand, and I'm going to paste it here. So at least I know where I should be going in space. So again, looking back at the reference really quick, I am here. The hand comes up about here. I would probably make this an in-between. I'd probably make this an in-between, and then finally get into that pose. So let's just hit this pose right here, which comes out forward towards the camera. And let's just see what kind of fist they're making. Okay, so it's a sideways fist. Awesome. Like so. Check that out. Like that. The elbow is definitely down more. And again, before I get too excited, I need to rotate the body to where it should be. Like so. And then rotate that over. And then obviously the elbow's not going to come down to exactly where I want it. That's okay though. Again, let's look at the reference. And it looks like it's about pretty close to this corner over here. So even though I'm not going to be on model, I am now officially making the model look different now. So I don't want to go too far because then you won't be able to see it, and then it'll look like the full hand. That's not a good pose. That's looking better to me. To push this even further, let us kind of jet this forward a little bit more, like so. There we go. And then what I can do is move this up and then move this in a little bit. Actually, let's move this back. There you go. Now it's easier to see the character. Again, I'm totally breaking this character. It's totally off model now, but at this point, as long as it works. So let's move this up and then move it down. So it looks like it's resting a little bit better. Like so. That feels better. Let's move that up just a wee bit more. And then I might actually want to move this out just a little bit. Let's look at the reference. No, actually I want to move this in because relatively speaking it's a lot closer to the head, I want to say. But again, trying to get the same energy. Smooth that in just a little bit. Perfect. And again, quick reminder to look at the silhouette. That looks rather broken, actually. I think I might actually want to lift it up just a little bit more. And then, let me see if that makes a difference. Like so. Slightly better difference. Actually, in a perfect world, what I would honestly want to do is get this elbow like all the way back in space. Okay, again, I'm totally cheating this, by the way. You can't really see it in the camera, but it looks like it's not going that far in actuality. However, if you look here, I am stretching the hell out of this. But I would much rather have a much stronger silhouette than me kind of like, oh, well, you know, technically it's not correct, so I'll just move it to where it does look correct. But then look at the silhouette. That looks terrible. So rather than, you know, compromise the actual pose, what I'm going to do is make it look right in camera. And as long as that looks right, at the end of the day, that's ultimately all that matters. So, and again, this part I'll probably fix just by saving and then re-uploading. So now that that has been done, let's do the same thing with this hand. So same thing, I'm going to copy the last pose from here, or copy the last placement because the hand isn't moving that much. Paste like so. So that's where the hand once was. And let's see where the hand is now. Okay, so what I actually need to do is this hand really only moves back a little bit. And then kind of rolls it down. This hand is actually the one that comes out more. And that's what gives us that, whoa, I've just woken up. What'd I miss? Kind of feeling. And if we look back here, that's exactly what's happening. Where this hand is rotating actually over the other hand and then resting back into this one. So let's try to get that in scene. Before I get too excited, let's make sure that the silhouette's strong. Let's do that now. And this one I have to be very, very careful of, because if I stretch it out too much like this, then it definitely breaks the rig. But if I do something like this, it's kind of harder to see the silhouette. So what I might do is actually kick it in a little bit more like so. So when I do look at the silhouette, you can see it a little bit better. And what I would do is I would get this elbow here, or the shoulder blade, and then let's see if I can, man, where did the control go? Is it this one? Let's find out. Like so. That way, when I look at the silhouette, now you see a much more defined shoulder, and it's much easier to read. So again, I'm continuing to break this rig a little bit, but at least I'm servicing and trying to maintain it to look better. And already that's kind of too far. I've moved that hand a little bit. And so, perfect, that's looking good. The last thing I want to do is now go over here and try to get this pose ready. Let's see, I probably want to kick that out a little bit, or not too much though. Again, I don't want it to be like perfectly straight on, because then you're getting this really boring symmetrical kind of thing going on right here. So what I want to do is kick that out a little bit more so it's opening up the space between the arms, and I still want the elbow to kind of be seen a little bit more. So I'm going to kick that back a little bit more so you can kind of see the elbow silhouette, like so. But again, you got to be careful. I want this to kind of lean more into it. like so. Actually, I'm gonna push this in just a bit more. There you go. Okay, that's good. So, completely broken, but it actually kind of matches the arms a little bit more. Kind of makes them look a little bit more skinny too. Okay, so now that I've done that, next thing I want to do is I want to save this really quick, save scene as. Let's go to my ASCII 005. And we'll put in about 5 more minutes into this, and then we'll call this the second part. And then we'll probably make the final part, and maybe even a little bit longer for the next class. So, again, let's now reopen this file. Open scene. Work files. That's weird. I thought I saved as a 005. Save scene as. Files. ASCII. Alright, just save as a 005 just to be safe. You never know. Okay. 005. Okay. So let's open up the scene again. The reason I'm opening up the scene is, again, like, these elbows keep getting broken. I'm not sure why. So let's do it. Alright, file, open scene. Acting 005. Don't say it because I already did. Let's see. And hey, what do you know? The elbows are fixed and then broken again. So this is definitely going to be something that I'm going to have to deal with for this specific rig. But it looks like as long as I'm able to hit the pose that I want, it stays, but then it kind of jerks out a little bit. That's okay. I'm just kind of curious to see if it, yeah, it's not changing. It's just some weird blocking thing in between. Let's go back to controls, select objects, and I just want to make sure that this is stepped, flat and stepped, like so. I'm gonna have to keep tinkering this, I guarantee it. But again, I don't want to mess around with this too much because I know it's probably gonna break again. That's okay, as long as I get the general idea. Yeah, they just love to break. This is so funny. I wonder what happens if I do this. That is just hilarious. Why? Why do you do this? All right. So that's the major bit. The last thing I want to do here is hold on. Let me make sure. Select controls. Select objects. On frame 25. Why is this not keyed? It's so weird. That one's keyed. Why not the other one? I'll just key it there then. I'll key this here too. Copy. Just want to see what happens if I paste it there. Funny. I don't know why you did that, but it worked. All right, cool. I'll fix that later. Actually, no, I'll fix it now. Okay. Last thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to fix the face really quick. That way, when we come back, it's going to be mostly doing cleanup for us. Let me again fix that really quick. Copy, paste. Okay. So next thing I want to do is let's quick look at the reference. Okay, head is really, really down because I'm like, ugh, like I just woke up. What I miss? so. I definitely want to see that elbow and that shoulder a little bit more. So that's looking like a much stronger pose. Like, what the hell did I miss? Holy crap. So, and that's kind of giving me the same vibes that I have here. We got that shoulder. That's reading pretty well. Next thing I want to do is, and actually the last thing for this tutorial that I'm going to do is, let's just see what the eyebrows do. So they don't come up quite yet, but what the eyes are doing is they're very much implying like this person is incredibly tired, very sleepy. So let's do that right now. Lower lid, we'll make that 3. That's actually looking really good. Looks like they're really, really tired. Remember, you want some asymmetry. So for one of these, just make it the right eye. Size it up a bit. There you go. Now they're like, oh, man, I totally missed class. So let's get those upper eyelids in. Maybe make that a 5. Maybe 4 instead. Oh, make it 2. And then we'll make this right eye again. Emphasize that one a little bit more. Make that one 3. So now they're like, whoa, I was totally out of it. I was not focusing at all. What the hell is going on? And then let's see what's happening. Last thing I want to do is kind of purse this up a little bit. Push that back. Oh no, it won't let me. That's okay. Actually, maybe not. I need to be able to purse this back more. Kind of get some dimples in there. There you go. That's the better controller. So I'm going to dimple that out. I'm like, oh man, like I totally missed class. I was just so freaking tired. What happened? There you go. I'll definitely tinker with that a bit more. But in the meantime, it's giving me more of the effect that I'm trying to get. And I think, yeah, I'm going to zero that out for now before I get too excited. Like so. And then this one's actually looking pretty good. Jet that forward just a bit. And the last thing I want to do is I actually want this head to come down a little bit more. Actually, no, I want it to come up so that the character is like, I'm awake, I'm totally focused, I know what's going on, I didn't miss anything. And then we'll kick it back a little bit more so it feels more grounded. And then last thing I want to do is kick these eyebrows a little bit. Oh, what did I miss? Perfect. Okay, so again, friendly reminder as to what I'm doing, and you can see here, it's continuing to break the funkiness that's happening right now. You're probably going to interact with that a bit. That happens a lot with IK especially, because I'm relying on Maya to do the calculations for where things should be in space. So keep that in mind. You're going to get some weirdness. To combat that, all you need to do, File, Save Scene, and then you're going to open your scene again. And that should, fingers crossed, hopefully, there you go. until you get to this area where it'll do some weird stuff. But again, we'll tackle that when we come back. So thank you all for watching. This is part 2 of how to make an acting piece. Really quick recap. All we did was get ourselves into our next pose and having no shame in breaking the rig. As you can tell, these elbows are completely changed from what's actually seen in the scene. But again, because of the camera, I'm able to cheat it and make it look much cleaner than it actually is, just like with the first pose. So even with this first one, I'm breaking stuff here. Things are going through the head. And then even when you go here, the elbow is completely broken, but it's much more difficult to see in here. So hopefully hopefully that helps you, and I'll see you in the third video. Awesome.